Hi, all my book loves. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi. Um, it's so good to see all of you here. As always, I'm so thankful for everyone tuning in. This book was trying my patience, and I had a hurt foot that I did at my other job, and so it was really hard for me to get done with this book and just all that stuff. So thank you guys for bearing with me and being with me and all of that. Today we'll be going over Fireborne by Rosaria Munda, the book 1 in the Flamefall series. There's Flamefall and Fireborne, and I don't know if I'm going to read those after this one, but we'll get into that. And I'll try my best to go through my opinions afterwards, but no promises. There's no disclaimer, and there's no spice, so that's good. The only thing is that I would say the trigger warning that I would put on it, basically for myself, would be burned by fire. There are dragons in this book, so they're gonna have some of that, and it kind of caught me off guard. I don't know why, but just a little bit. So she goes into detail about it. There's that. So I just wanted to let you guys know beforehand. It's a dual point of view, and we follow Annie and Lee, and we'll get into it. Let's just put it that way with that dual point of view. So the synopsis on the back is, today we rise. Annie and Lee were only children when revolution changed their world. I would think the revolution changed their world because there's only one revolution, but giving everyone a chance to test into the governing classes of dragon riders. Now they are both rising stars in the new regime, even though Annie's low-born family was executed by dragonfire. I didn't read the back of this synopsis when I picked it up. I just got the book and was like, all right, let's go. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'm like, a book will call out to me just from the cover, and I'm like, all right, let's give it a shot. You know, I don't know anything about the book. So having that on the back of the book and there's no warning or disclaimer, very strange to me, but okay. It's Lee, while Lee was born to the very aristocrats who used to rule the city. A childhood at the same orphanage forged their friendship. 7 years of training have made them rivals for the top position in dragon riding fleet. But everything changes when survivors from the old regime surface, bent on reclaiming their city. With war on the horizon, Lee must choose to kill the only family he has left or to betray everything he's come to believe in. Whether it's to protect her dearest friend, and Annie must decide whether to protect her dearest friend or step up to be the champion her city needs. Loyalty and love are tested in this gripping adventure that asks what matters most, the family you were born into or the one you've chosen. Oh my God. Okay. Apparently, we don't need to go further. I mean, I'm glad I didn't read this when I picked it up, because we're done now. That's it. I can just move on. All of it's said in the back of the book. Like, if you want to grip somebody to read it, yes, but I feel like you just gave everything away. Now, okay, that's my opinion. I'm sorry. Let's just keep going. So chosen is very vague and loose here. Same with a lot of that. They're not really chosen. They fight for that position. And then it starts with so the book starts with a prologue in the backstory of like Lee and how he became an orphan. And Lee's watching the revolution these men slaughter his family because he was a nobleman, part of the regime, and he's like only 8 or 9. And the leader of this revolution, Atreus, tells a man to take Lee away, whose real name, can you guess? Can you guess what Lee's real name is? We have, I'll give you 3 options. A is going to be Leonidas. B would be, let's see, Ryan. And the C is Leo. Let's take a moment. What do your guesses are? If you said C, Leo, you're absolutely correct. I have some stuff about that, but like I said, I'm going to save that to the end because I don't want anybody who's interested in this book to be misguided. There is a lot of people on YouTube who absolutely love this book, so I'm not going to give too much away. I mean, I will be diving into it, so if you really are kind of interested in this book already, pause it, go, I'm okay. Like, you can come back and hear what I have to say about it afterwards, of course. But yeah, so I'm going to let you do that now. So then Leo, none of them, even including Lee, heard Atreus say to kill the boy. They only heard him say take away the boy. This guy. Champa, what are you doing? Interrupting my filming. Anyways. Cats. Anywho. So, this guy ends up taking him to a random orphanage, and he just tells Lee that his name is now Lee. So now our story. So if you want to get out now, that's fine. I don't mind. You're not hurting my feelings. But those of you who are staying, this is our story now. So we're in Lee/Leo's point of view. And after that, knowing that his name is really Lee. Okay, sorry, that's my opinion. But you would think Leo, but whatever. So it's right in the morning in this middle of the this tournament that they're having, and it's like 9 years after the prologue. Lee and Annie are going to get some flying in to spar before the tournament. They both get a letter. They and then there's like a couple of people in their like squad, I guess, who are also sparring each other for this position. This boy named Power makes fun of this boy named Duck because of the Duck's family is lower class, so Power's making fun of him. Makes fun of Annie for not being that good, but Lee thinks she's like one of the best riders. So then the final match ends up happening, and after this, it's been said that Lee and Annie are going to be fighting against each other for the first rider, which is like very high rank in dragon riders. So they have to compete against each other, which is like Lee's least favorite thing to do. Annie's not really up to it. So this boy Cor, Cor, that's how I pronounced it. Cor, I don't know, Cor. I'm calling him Cor. He and this girl Carissa has decided to train for a few weeks with Lee to get him up and ready, even though Annie and Lee have been sparring against each other forever. So this is going to be really like a battle of exhaustion. Power, surprisingly, decides that he's going to take Annie and going to teach her how to this thing called spill over, which is where you fight with your emotions with your dragon and you are together. And I guess that in this world, that's a big no-no. You don't do that. That's very dangerous. That's whoa, that's crazy talk, right? So then Lee fights. He burns Annie a little bit, and he wins first rider. And then after that, there's a ball. Lee and Annie go together, and when that happens, they're dancing, they're having a good time. And then there's a moment where they break apart. It's a very vulnerable moment. We get into Annie's point of view, and she kind of always knew that Duck liked her. He's the one that's with her out on this journey, or out in the terrace or balcony or whatever with her, and she's just like, I know he likes me. I shouldn't be out here with him. Even in Lee's point of view early on with the whole power thing, Lee kind of noticed that Duck likes her. Everybody knows that Duck likes her. She even knows that Duck likes her. And then they Duck leans in for a kiss, and she like freaks out on him. Like, why could he do this? Like, I understand. I don't understand, really. I mean, you're telling me in one sentence that she knows that this is going to happen and she shouldn't be out here, but she makes no attempt to leave. And then right as it happens, she like freaks out and goes, oh my God, I can't believe it. In the very next sentence. Now, then we get into Lee's point of view. And in Lee's point of view, Carissa finds him, and Carissa has been very persistent with him, flirting with him constantly, trying to make a pass at him. He's more into Annie. He's like, whatever. He just like kind of like blows it off. And so she catches Lee in a very vulnerable state right now, alone, takes advantage of it, and they make out. And then they start to form this relationship with each other. And so then after that, they like, Annie says she's fine with it, even though she's not. Lee says this is it. This is good. I like her, but he really doesn't. He really likes Annie. So they go sit on council meetings. Annie and Lee, because it's a first rider, and then it's like the champion or something like that. So like Annie's like second in command. She's like Lee's second, pretty much. So then they have to like go to these classes to speak the old language, dragon tongue, because they all speak like the common tongue. So he has to like fake that he doesn't know dragon tongue, because that's what all the nobles back in the old regime used to speak strictly, and he's like fluent in it, so he's just quiet. But like the guy who is their teacher, he knows that it's Lee, so he doesn't really like say anything about that. Like he's just like, oh yeah, like he's just quiet, sort of a thing. So he gets like a letter from his cousin to meet her, and while like he's gonna meet his cousin, Annie decides to go to Duck's house and spend time with him, and like she's like still sparring with power, and like Carissa and Lee get closer. Lee and Annie end up going to like her old village that was like burned, and she like talks about and opens up with Lee about how pretty much his dad was, she kind of always had an inkling that Lee was a nobleman, and so it was like she opens up about how like his dad burned her family alive, and it was like her two brothers and her dad, and that's when like his identity gets revealed at some point after that. Honestly, it wasn't a big like, oh my God, Lee's Leo, like sort of a thing, because we knew that from the beginning, from the epilogue. So it wasn't like this, like we knew it. Annie kind of suspected and then all the characters know it now. And I think his cousin says in like a letter they're gonna go to war if, and like she wants to meet Lee one last time, just to see if he'll like fight with them or fight against them. So he goes to Atreus with Annie's support. Atreus is surprised that like it's Leo, but they still call him Lee, and but he locks him up before he like has to meet his cousin, for I guess for him to like decide and get disciplined for like not being honest, right? And Cora, Duck, and Rock, this guy named Rock, and Carissa see Lee, and I guess like they just like visit him and all of that. And then he fights his cousin. Sorry, I got like 2 cats on my lap right now. He fights his cousin, and he comes back and then it's like 2 pages of a fight, and then we come back into Annie's point of view, and she's like, Lee has like finished Lee has finished his cousin, and there's no threat no more or anything like that. This is Champa Bear. He's a lovey butt, and he likes to do anything that he wants to do. Stop it. Anyways, so then we're still in Annie's point of view, and Lee like puts his like face on the ground and like lays his hands like in front of Atreus, and pretty much like says like, I'm for you, I'll fight for this for you, and I believe in you, and like you're my king or whatever, you political leader, like I don't claim nobility at all or anything like that. So then it's like the end. So nothing gets resolved. So now here's my thoughts. And now maybe it's because I read Fourth Wing first, and then as I was reading this, Onyx Storm came out. So I know this book came 4 years before Fourth Wing. So I mean, maybe, like I said, I didn't read this first. I read Fourth Wing first. But like I said, this book has a lot of hype for it in the YouTube world, and I know that. And I maybe I'm missing something. Because I honestly had to force myself to finish it. And then I had to force myself to do my outline. Like, I had to literally sit here and be like, okay, you got to write about this book. And I was just like, oh, like, I did not have any motivation whatsoever to do this, but it's here now. We're good now. My problems with it is that, like I said, where you get 2 pages of fighting with her cousin, and then it switches to Annie's point of view, and he defeated her. But we don't see that on the page. Every character development, every character point of what decision to be made about it, gone. Like, you don't see that anywhere at all in this book. You don't see them going through those hero trials, going through those difficult times, asking themselves those difficult questions. The relationship dynamics were very flat for me. I don't know, maybe because I love drama. Like, this is my K-drama shirt, like a sweatshirt, which I love. I've been living in it. I just washed it, don't worry. But I love the sweatshirt. Maybe it's because of that I love to see the push and the pull of everything, like will they, won't they, and it just lacked for me. It wasn't, everybody's saying, oh, this is so real, but my problem is that when you're telling me, oh yeah, everybody knows that he likes her and all that stuff, and she like has a straight on panic attack because like he went to kiss her even though she knew that it was already happening. What is that? Like, she's supposed to wait for Lee till he's done with his fling with Carissa? Like, I don't understand. Like, that's not realistic. The woman should never have to wait for the man. I don't know. Maybe I like strong, empowered women because that's who I am. That I like to be represented. Like, Annie does not represent me at all. You know? And then Carissa, she was just, like I said, she was very persistent with him, constantly flirting with Lee, constantly like, oh, ha, 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 ha. Like, I like you, I like you. And then she catches him in a vulnerable state, and she knew he didn't like her. And she shot her shot anyways. And then they're freaking together now, and everything's all hunky-dory, and yeah, this is that's not a real relationship. I guess to me, I always think about things like that it's not real for me. It was never real for me. And taking advantage of somebody in a vulnerable state is not how you should start a relationship. I didn't like it as a whole, and the characters were all one-dimensional. Like I said, everything's all you hear about, like it's not written in a way that like you see all those terrible decisions, horrible things that they're thinking, all the PTSD things, all the stuff that should be part of a character. You only just hear it after the fact. Like, yes, Lee's in the dungeon, but we only get like a paragraph of him in the dungeon, even though he's been in there for like 5 days. And it's not very much. It's just like, oh yeah, these people saw me. And then in Annie's point of view, it's like, yeah, we saw him, we're worried about him, blah, 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 blah. So we never get him depressed. Was he depressed in there? What was he thinking about? Was he going through everything? We don't know. Annie says that that's what he was doing, but we need to hear it from Lee's point of view. And the only person that I truly was invested in, like, I was like, ooh, I want to hear more about this. Let me turn the page to hear more about him, because at this point, he's the only one that I'm rooting for, was Power. And I don't know, maybe I just love those enemy to lovers, but it doesn't even explain why during the whole tournament he was mean to Annie, and then all of a sudden he switches and kind of becomes her friend. Like, there's no reason behind it. It's just like, yep, that's how he is now, just for character, just for moving the plot along, or like whatever. Nothing is explained. And I'm sorry, but these names I could not, I don't know, like, they're just ridiculous to me. Power, Duck, Core, even Lee, like, I was like, is he a superhero or something? Like, why? It's just one letter. And then, like, nobody knew who he was. But then his teacher like, his tutor for, like, Dragon Tongue is like, oh, yeah, I know exactly who he is. Even your name might be Lee, but it's actually Leo, and all this stuff. And it's like, so which is it? Nobody knows who he is? Or, like, you know, if Atreus actually, like, digged a little deeper with the propaganda shit, and all the people of propaganda should know who he is then, because they have a picture of him when he was younger. So it's like we're led to believe that nobody knows who he is, but yet some person in a little bit of a higher up knows who he is. So shouldn't they all know who he is? And just because his name is Lee and not Leo, like, we should be okay with that. Like, he looks like his dad. Like, it's only been 9 years. If you killed somebody because they were doing things the wrong way, wouldn't you know who his face was? Like, I don't know. It never explains it. Of course, it never explains the letter that Annie got in the tournament. No further explanation. It said, like, maybe you should botch it, and like, we're led to believe it was like Atreus people who did that. Like, I don't know. She speculates it, but nothing was confirmed, because then she goes to, like, the council meetings with all these nobles, and they're all rooting for her. So it's like, it makes no sense who that was and why they're saying, like, you shouldn't do that. You know, you shouldn't win. And then one thing that I did like about it, because I had to find something entertaining besides power, was that in this new government that they did, everyone of age gets a test. So depending on the score, depends on what job you'll get, and you get like a bracelet. So iron class is like fields and labor, copper infantry and guards, silver is propaganda, gold is philosophers, and the gold is like what Atreus and all the noble new people of like the government is. And it's like supposed to be like more democratic sort of a government. And then silver and gold intertwined are dragon riders. So everyone has like in the beginning, like, yes, you might be born of gold or you might be born of iron, but you take this test and then you can actually end up in gold or you can end up in silver. The old regime nobles spoke dragon tongue. Most of the people spoke Korish, and the dragon riders take a class in dragon tongue, but like Lee doesn't talk, and the teacher knows who Leo is. And the whole entire time, throughout the whole entire book, once we're in one, like we already knew Leo's his name, then all the characters knew. We're still going into his point of view as Lee. That's that. Like, is it supposed to signify that he kept his his like loyalty to Atreus by taking the name Lee instead of Leo? Like I said, it's stupid because it's like one letter. That's like me going, yeah, my name is Chelsea instead of Kelsey. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to nitpick it. I don't know. But I thought that was like stupid. I was like, this made me physically ill. This book made me physically ill. So then, another negative is it kind of spoke about was like on the happy place, the POVs, sort of a thing when you switch back and forth to like old and new, like there was like italics, and I get that, but like the problem is that the POV didn't start a new chapter. So we're going with Annie for a bit in her point of view. A new chapter started, we're still in Annie, and then halfway through that we're switched up to Leo's or to Lee's, and it's like here I am wondering what's going on with A, B, and Z with her, and then time skip, and then we're in Lee's point of view. So it's like, okay, what happened? What happened? And then Lee's like, oh yeah, this happened, even though they didn't even see each other. And then we just get 2 sentences of like the end of that. And I feel like that is a very poor writing. I'm sorry. I like to see things on the page. I like to see the struggles on the page. I like to see the heroes go through their ups and downs, and what are they morally gray? Are they morally, black? Like, are they good? Are they not good? What are they struggling with? And we don't see that. We don't see that at all. And I mean, for me, if you can't write the hard scenes, then maybe you shouldn't be writing this book at all. I'm sorry. That's just who I am. Like, I push myself to write those hard scenes. I put myself in those situations. I put myself when I write to do that. And, it's like when you don't, this is what you get. And it's like, I personally, like I said, it's not personally for me. And these are the reasons why. Now, if you like that style and you don't want to deal with all that, maybe it's called fluff. I don't know. But I do know with writing, you have to have those ups and downs. And most people want to know why. That's how you make them relatable. That's how you make them more than one dimensional. That's how you make them more real, is because everybody goes through that. I'm not dealing with, somebody trying to kill me. At least I don't think, but yeah, I want to know, what thoughts are put into that. Like, okay, somebody's trying to kill me. Okay, panic attacks, maybe. You wake up in hot sweats. You wake up scared and, in a panic you hold out a knife. You have a knife underneath your pillow. Like, I've gone through those things. Show that. Tell me that. write that in a POV, please. Like, I don't know. That's just me. And then the spillover is not really explained, and it doesn't really tell you why it's bad. It just says that's a big no-no, and Lee's like, I'll never do that. I always like to be in control. From what I know, I mean, I could be wrong, but from my naivety, I guess I could say, of, instincts and, control and all that, if you are with something else, that's why they tell you to bond with a horse. That's why they tell you, like, connect with animals. If you're going to be, like, around animals, take time, nurture them, bathe them, feed them. You have to spend hours and hours and hours and hours to gain that trust. And then pretty soon you're on the back of the horse and you guys are like one, riding together. You can feel, the horse when he's mad. The horse when he's angry. Doesn't that make you a better rider? I mean, I've never, personally taken the time to know a horse, but I'm just saying, like, from what I've heard about people who took in riding lessons and all of that, like, there's a lot of care and time that goes into that animal. Now, horse is not a dragon, yes, but I'm just saying the concept is still probably the same, right? You don't just like, okay, this dragon bonded to me, peace out. Only when I need you is I'm going to go to you. Sort of a thing. And so I don't understand it. But then, we don't live in this world. So I understand not wanting to force feed us stuff, information. But, like, you kind of have to, because we're trying to get where you're at. We're trying to get a lay of the land. We're trying to see it how you see it. And when you don't put too much thought and effort and time into it like this is where it lacks, because you're like, okay, like, I didn't know that this was just like a little town or whatever. Like, I didn't know that. Like, it doesn't say anything. I'm like, is this like the only place? And then there's like some far off place. Like, it doesn't explain anything to me. So personally, I'll end it with this. I don't want to read the other two. I really don't. Seeing how I did not like this, I did not like her style of writing. I have the other two books because the series, like, I want to complete it. Maybe in a couple of years I'll go back and I will reread it. I mean, that's always a possibility, but I don't think it's anytime soon. It wasn't fun. It wasn't great for me. I mean, I don't know, maybe when I'm 50, 60 years old, I'm going to be like, ugh, these kids and their drama, and then I can read this and then I'll see it in fresh new eyes. I mean, that's happened to me before. I have books that I reread and I didn't catch something that I didn't before, and then it makes me fall in love with it. Or there's books that I don't really want to read, and then I read them and I fall in love with them. And I'm like, why did it take me so long to read them? So, it just all depends, and stuff like that. As always, let me know what you think. I'm, like I said, I did hurt my foot, so sorry this came to you guys so late. I am also, as a side project, annotating a book. It's this book, Ghost and the Goth, by Stacy Cade. Stacy Cade is an amazing author. I have her on my Facebook. She is so wonderful. I always tell her how much I love these books. I also bought like another set just because I was annotating this one and I wanted one that wasn't like that. But as you can see, I'm almost done with it, annotating it. But yeah, it's just like full of like, here, let me see if I can show you. Like, look at that. Like, it's just every single page is like that. I absolutely adore going through this book and doing all of that stuff to it, writing everything down. It has taken a lot of my time because, as you can see, that's different highlighters and different stuff, and like this is probably like my favorite part. But anyways, so I'm doing that. I'm almost done with that, and then I'm gonna start Queen of the Dead, which is the second book of that, and Body and Soul, which is the third book. So that's going to be fun. I'm also doing some stuff for the Mediator series. Oh, sorry. Hold on 1 second. I didn't think I was going to talk about this. This one, Mediator series. I have all of them. So I'm just going to go through it. We're going to probably deep dive this very soon. Take it a little bit by bit, going through each of the chapters, and then seeing if anything coordinates. There are 6 books, so if that is something that you would like to do, please get one, follow along with us. That'd be great. And then just for fun, I finally am reading Shadow and Bone. I haven't gotten really far. Like I said, it's been crazy with hurting my foot and all that stuff. And as you can see, I got kitty cats trying to come at me. But this is gonna be this is just a fun read, and I got kind of confused in the beginning just because I was like, huh, what's going on? Like, there was a lot going on when I was reading it. So I did watch half an episode of the first season of the first episode, and I did read during last year. I read a little bit of Six and Crows, so I already love Kaz, and then I saw Kaz in the beginning of the first episode, and I was like, whoa, wait. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, as always, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Keep watching. Hopefully I can, get all this stuff done and get the time to do it. I really am trying to do the best that I can. I want to do this right for you guys. I want to give you guys information. I want it to be fun. Of course, I'm still learning, but any criticism, anything like that, let me know. If any of you guys would like to help me with it, that'd be great. We can read together. We can do a book club together. I want to start all these things, but I know I'm starting out, so we kind of have to put that, these are just goals right now that I would like to do. Always hit that like button, share a comment, share it if you had the same sentiments or whatever, and you were like, oh, this is exactly how I felt about Fireborne, all that stuff. Or if you're like, wow, this is stupid, share it, that'd be great. I mean, every little bit helps. Don't forget to subscribe. Hopefully soon, with my first 1,000 subscribers, I want to do a little special gift for you guys, a little drawing or something like that, a little contest. So yeah, let me know. Okay, bye guys, thank you so much. Have a good month and weekend, and hopefully I'll see you back soon. Bye.